Pioneer Auto. That big thing you see on all the signs going down Interstate 90 when you're in Dakotas. Welcome to Pioneer Auto in Murdo, South Dakota, and here's where we checked in, and we're going to head down that way. Got all kinds of different cars in here. Here's an Izetta. Remember the Dukes? This is the original General Lee. The original. 7 Chevy. There's a 59 Caddy. There's a 53 Buick or something like that. There's a Lincoln. Mercury. There's an old race car back there. Here's a car made out of wood. Look at that, made out of wood. Wow. There's a pipe collection in here. And we're collection. Mickey Mouse. Wow. The forerunners of all the video games. Pinball. Toy cars from today and yesterday. Oh, there's a model of the General Lee. Oh, look what I found. Wow. My favorite character. My favorite character. Misa, Lixa, Jar Jar. Here's my sister Grace standing by this children's snowmobile. Look how small that is. This is a 1962 Messerschmitt. It's 3 wheels, 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. Now they have also a collection of guns, long rifles, long-barreled guns. There's an old caboose, wooden.
Well, I've never been in a caboose that actually had the guts inside of it. They've always been empty. So this is kind of cool to see, you know, the benches and the work table and the stove and everything. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Here's something as I was growing up and we travel, I'd see a lot of. Pass the schoolhouse, take it slow, let the little, shavers grow, Burma Shave, which was a shaving cream, and this was how they advertised their product. There's a covered wagon. You imagine crossing this great country in a wagon? Boy, that would take forever, number one. They had to be pretty strong folks. Some outboard motors. And inside are some steam engines. Here's how the gas stations used to kind of look. They had a little carport where you could pull under, which they have nowadays too. But they always had a little sign, clean restrooms. There's a lot of old cars that need a lot of work. A lot of different models and cars. There's the old AMX in 1970 there. Any of you remember the La Car? There's one right there. 1963 Ford Ranchero, which was half car and half pickup truck. There's an old Lloyd wagon. See, it's like a station wagon. And a Subaru wagon. Look at how old that one is. They've changed. An old Metropolitan, which, believe it or not, it was way ahead of its time. It was very gas efficient. This is a 1958 Ford Edsel. And as kids, it used to remind us of a car sucking a lemon because of the way the grill was. When I first started driving, I had a 1948 Chevy Fleetwood, and this is a 1947 Fleetwood, but they're pretty much the same. I had that exact same style of a car, but it was a 1948 Chevy Fleetwood. Pontiac Safari station wagon. This building has some old tractors and attachments for those tractors. Forerunner for a riding lawnmower. Kind of cool. Tractor in behind it. Many of you know that Judy and I have an RV, but this was used for a 3-year tour, ocean to ocean. As you can see, they had all the comforts at home way back in the way old days. How would you like to live in this thing for 3 years? There's the bed in there. Now this was like a trailer that you pulled behind a vehicle, but you can kind of see the bed springs back there where the bed was located. It had like a little kitchen area, but it was pulled behind another by a vehicle, a car or a truck. Old fire trucks start popping up during the war, and they would draw that little guy there, and they would write Kilroy was here. I draw that picture once in a while myself. There's a 1937 Cord, and I'm taking this picture because it had hidden headlights. Those headlights used to go down into the fenders to give it a more sleek look. You used to be able to buy this thing for $985, but I'm sure that was a lot of money back in 1913. I like this 1909 Maxwell because it's red, and I love red. It was like a big old station wagon or touring vehicle. Judy and I currently own a G6 convertible that's a retrack, but here's one of the forerunners of that. This is a 1958 retrack Ford Fairlane. In the old days when people passed away, you had to get them up to Boot Hill. So you probably rode them in one of these hearses, pulled by horses. 1890. This was an original flying car, hydrofoil, not a hydrofoil, but it had fans underneath it that would raise it about 6 inches off the surface, and it could travel without wheels. So they were pretty innovative in those days, that's for sure. Here's a red Corvair convertible, and Judy used to own a little red Corvair convertible. The big thing about the Corvair was the engine was located in the back, which was pretty innovative in its day. I wonder if this guy really wants to say I do. Then again, maybe she doesn't want to say I do. Well, I'm in my glory now because I found a building that has motorcycles in it. I got all kinds of motorcycles I can look at in here.
Favorite exhibit somewhere in our 42 building show. If you loved it here, don't be a hound dog and tell a friend, or bring it back with you next time.
This motorcycle was owned by Elvis Presley. They're very, very cool. Sidecar. 1982 motorcycle. It's a whizzer. Boy, someone spent a lot of time building this car. Wow, how would you like to drive around in something like that? Sure be an eye catcher, wouldn't it? I can't believe it. There's a 1965 Honda Dream. I had one of those when I was on Okinawa back in the 60s. Bicycle has a little assist. That's the kind of bicycle I would like. I mentioned in an earlier video I used to own a 1968 Camaro convertible, but it was red, and also a 69 Camaro convertible. I owned also a 1970 Chevelle convertible, red. Looked very much like this one. This is a 1970, just a different color. I did have the white top. Judy and I visited Tom Mix's home one time up in Oklahoma, and here's his actual car that he owned, a 1931 Packard. That's Tom Mix's Packard. I wonder if this is the one that he was driving when he got killed. He was hit in the back of the head with a steel suitcase, and that's what killed him. But some of you viewers might recognize this. It's an old Gateway computer, 2000. I'm not sure how old it is. Here's another old computer in here, but notice it had a floppy disk drive. It has all the old muscle cars. Got the Mustangs, Daytona. See that Daytona? That was kind of a cool car. Look at this. And then you'd go all the way to the back and it had this fin on it. Gotta love the paint job on this 1970 AMC Rebel. Very cool. Nice paint job. Red, white, and blue. Love it. And being close to Memorial Day, this was a very nice touch. I caught this sign right above the Pacer picture. Remember the towers. Let's never forget. This would be a real hoot to drive this thing down a city street. The engine's in there, got a drive shaft on back to the rear. And here's where you drive it. Is that cool or what? Wouldn't you like to own that too?
Have you seen these, Joe?
What do we got?
Well, these are actually dream catchers.
Oh, dream catchers,
With
cool.
individuals' names on it.
Oh, and it has people's names on it?
Yes, and that would be so cool.